We welcome in Andrew Eyster for, I think this is episode 3 or 4 of
I think it's 4. I think it's number 4.
Hey, yeah, you've been getting together with Kendall over the last couple times, and now you get stuck with me. So, Andrew, how are we doing today?
We're doing good. Just coming off a fun day yesterday, good win, and have a little practice today, and then after this weekend, got a big weekend ahead.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's MLB opening day. We're recording this the Thursday before the Georgia Series. Did you grow up with an MLB team, or were you just all college all the time?
No, actually, I grew up a Marlins fan. Unfortunately, back when I was 5 or 6 years old, we had a little TV in our living room, and we just had. That was back when before we had like Dish Network or DirecTV or something like that. We just had the regular 50 or so cable channels, and I think one of them was Fox Sports, and they would always play the Marlins games every day. And I would sit by that TV every night and watch the Marlins play. And that was back when they had Dan Uggla, Hanley Ramirez, Josh Johnson, Miguel Cabrera, Dontrell Willis, those guys back in the glory days. And so I grew up watching them, and they were always my team. But I've kind of gotten away from that because I've watched so many losing seasons.
well,
someone into the world of the Tampa Bay Rays now.
Yeah, Tampa Bay Rays and whichever team he's lucky enough to draft you at the end of the year, right? As a Cubs fan, the Marlins are not my favorite organization in the world. They've beat the Cubs in 2 different playoff series now. One of those obviously being the Bartman incident, but we'll move past it. We'll actually talk some fun stuff. Obviously, up and down fun stuff over the last couple weeks for you guys. Take 2 or 3 from Vanderbilt. You win the last 2 games of that series after losing a pretty lopsided game that I guess it was Thursday night. Then you come back and I think lose to Presbyterian, win the first game against Missouri, then lose the next 2. Come back last night and beat a ranked North Carolina team and sits in the top 5 again. Can you just take us through the ups and downs and highs and lows of the last 2 weeks or so have been like for you entering this Georgia Series?
I mean, it's weird how it's a funny game. But yeah, I mean, we went in the Vanderbilt Series, got kind of smacked around that first game, and but we still felt good about ourselves. It was kind of the same story as the Texas Series. Lose that first game, but still feeling confident, and it's nice. It's easy to feel that way when you got Will on the mound on game 2. It's we always feel really confident ourselves when he's on the mound, and so come out and win that game, and when you win that Saturday game at home, especially against a team like Vanderbilt, and you're 1-1, it's easy to get motivated for that next game, and so we kind of brought that energy into the next game. We were feeling really confident and played some of our best baseball of the year, probably our best. And that's what we got to do to be successful is that be good on the mound and also have some rhythm offensively, and that's what we did. And obviously that Tuesday lose a tough game to Presbyterian. Nobody ever wants that to happen, but it happened, and it wasn't pretty by any means. And then obviously going to Missouri the next following weekend, that following weekend, and have a good win on Friday. Played a really good 7 or 8 innings on Saturday. We're up 4 runs going late into the game, and we just couldn't hold on. And it's kind of the opposite effect on that Sunday of instead of feeling good and confident about ourselves, kind of tight and worrying about winning the series, and we just can't allow ourselves to do that. We got to try to play with that confidence and energy the whole weekend. And obviously last night, one of the more fun games of the year, in my opinion, especially on the midweek. It's easy to kind of let these midweeks just just kind of go by, and it can be tough to get excited for them, especially when we're in the middle of SEC play. But when we're playing a team like North Carolina, it's a pretty big rivalry, especially as of lately, and getting to play in a park like Truist at Charlotte, beautiful stadium. We were excited for yesterday, and I thought put one of the best showings up of the year, both offensively and on the mound. And baseball's a funny game, and we got to do our best to take that momentum into this weekend, and everyone's feeling good after yesterday. So I think it's going to be easy to have that energy and have that confidence, going into this weekend, and we're at home, and we played our best baseball at home, especially the last few weekends we've had at home, and so everyone's feeling really good about this weekend.
I kind of want to ask about that because I think you guys have played really well at home. Obviously, your 2 big series wins have come at Founders. What's the difference? I mean, in terms of just the comfortability, take us through why it's not just you guys. There are a lot of teams that play really well at home and don't play as well on the road. Just what about playing at home is different than playing on a road?
I mean, I think it's just the energy and the noise, of having that home crowd behind you. I mean, I know personally, I love playing at home because I get to interact with fans and especially being in right field. It's fun to have a few thousand people there behind you rooting for you, and obviously being in the home field, this is the place that we're on, that we practice at, either practice or play at almost every day. And so, and that definitely adds something to it, just being comfortable with the environment and the field itself. But it's just fun. It's more fun playing at home. It's cool playing at a packed stadium away, but there you have a few thousand fans rooting against you and chirping you most of the time. So, but this is the best place to play in the country, in my opinion. And I love seeing, a packed Founders Park and hearing the fans go crazy, and especially when we're playing well, there's nothing like it. And I think that is mainly what makes that difference, is and energy and confidence, and that has so much effect in the sport of baseball. And I think that translates directly to us. But at the same time, with that being said, we got to do a better job of kind of keeping that going when we're away, even when we don't have all these fans behind us.
Is there a fun home memory you have? Which home game is maybe your favorite? The Sunday Clemson, or I guess it would be Sunday Clemson walk-off, probably one of them. The regional games last year, probably another.
Yeah, all those, and the Florida game too.
Right.
Yeah, and it sucks that I think all those games except the regional game were 25% capacity, if I'm not mistaken, and that sucks. That 2 of the probably most fun games of my life, especially here, we're at 5% capacity. But it's awesome seeing, especially for that Florida game, all those fans that stayed for those 14 innings, and all those people, and even with there being only a fraction of the amount of people that usually is here, it was still such a loud place after Virgie hit that walk off, and what a crazy up and down game that was. But I mean, there's been so many great memories here, and you think about the big moments a lot, like those, like the walk-offs and the long extra innings and the game tying homers and that kind of stuff. But every day it's like every day we play here, there's something that happens, whether it's just kids lining up for autographs after the game. Like, that's so awesome. I love doing that every single day, or just interacting with a new fan, a person that comes to watch the game for the first time, or someone that I get to meet that's a friend of a friend or something like that. It's you just don't get to you don't get to experience that when you play away, and it's something different, and something that I enjoy being a part of. Every home game.
Absolutely. And I will say, when you hit that, I think it was that 2-run homer or 3-run homer against Florida that set up the Burgess walk-off, there was at least one media member cursing in the press box because you tied the game with 2 outs. I didn't realize that we were going to have to, I thought we were going to have to be there in 45 minutes too.
I know when that happened, I was like, okay, this needs to end right now. I'm not trying to play a 17 or 18 inning game. That's not. But
I think the Saturday game was at like noon too, because I think it was like an SEC Network Saturday game.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. And that was a fun series. I mean, that totally deflated them the rest of the series, and it was. I think we pretty much, had a comfortable lead the rest of the series after going into Saturday and Sunday. That was fun, especially against the hometown team.
Yeah, I mean you remember that. Focusing a little bit back to this year. Obviously, the offense has kind of been, hit or miss is a little too much of a pun there, but just kind of up and down over the course of the since SEC play started. When you look at when the offense is succeeding, what are y'all doing? It's not anything different, but when the offense is playing well, what are some things that you guys are doing well? And when it's struggling at times, what are some things that maybe need to improve?
Yeah, I mean, just the when we're having a lot of success, we just have really good rhythm. It's timely hitting. It's situational hitting, situational baseball, moving guys over, hitting sac flies, ground out, scoring runs. When we can get 8 or 10 hits in a game and not be successful because sometimes it's just untimely hitting. It's a lot of 2-out singles, and it's singles and grounding and double plays. Like it's stuff like that where we hurt ourselves, and it's not really. Sometimes that stuff is uncontrollable. But when we're really getting the rhythm, getting guys on early, getting walks, hit by pitch, and moving guys like that, like when we get in a sequence and a rhythm like that, that's when we score a lot of runs. And yesterday, we scored 15 runs, and we had a bunch of hits. We had more than 10 hits, but the key to scoring all those runs was those free bases. We got walked and hit quite a few times last night, and it's it's hard in the SEC to the pitchers are so good where they're not going to give up a lot of free bags, but we really got to take advantage of those free bases.
Yeah,
and also personally, I kind of been here 4 years. I see myself as kind of the leader of the offense, even though Brant Belk's like 21st, last 22. But I feel like when I'm going, the offense goes, and it's the same for Wimmer and guys like Belk and Matt and those guys. But this weekend I struggled this weekend, and I just feel like that when I'm hitting, everyone else hits. Like there's we can get that rhythm going, and I think I'm thankful for guys like Brant at the top of the lineup, and he seems to never really get in a slump, knock on wood.
Yeah.
He's just always hitting the ball. He's always getting on base, and guys like I said, guys like Wimmer and Kevin, and this past weekend we had Seiler, and hopefully he gets on a nice roll here. But when we get everyone going at the same time, we can score a lot of runs. But it's when some guys are streaking and some guys are kind of slumping, like that's when we get into trouble. So we got to kind of rely on those guys, including myself, at the top of the lineup to get things going, and at least even if guys are struggling, to hit the ball, to get hits, at least do what they can to put together great at bats and get on base, get walked, get hit, that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was kind of going to ask you about that and just the terms of the core, even though Grant and Kevin really haven't played a lot with South Carolina, just the core of that veteran group there with you, Seitler, Wimmer, and those guys. How important are y'all? You kind of already answered it, but if you just want to retouch on it, but that group of guys in terms of getting the offense going with a lot of y'all at or near the top of the order.
Yeah, no, it's extremely important. And with that being said, we have a ton of extremely talented freshmen and younger guys, who have contributed a lot so far this season, and a lot of younger guys who are getting a lot of at bats, and that's something that you don't see a whole lot. But I commend those guys because they've been doing a really good job. But at the same time, having 2, 3, 4 years of college baseball under your belt, that there's a whole another level of confidence and just intangible benefits that adds. Just maturity and to have 4 or 5 of us at the top of the order, with that much experience is it's huge. And not only from a performance standpoint, but also just just the experience and just having the confidence. And even when we get into little scuffles, knowing it's not the end of the world. And that's something that the younger guys will learn too. They're going to go through struggles and dry spells, and Lord knows I've gone through a few here, and but once you do it enough and play enough, that you understand it's part of the game, and don't let it get under your skin that much. And that's why I think us older guys do a really good job of that.
Yeah, I'll be the first to admit that I've asked Mark Kingston before about either benching you or giving you a day off during a slump, and I think you responded with like that Florida series where you hit the walk off, and then I think win SEC Player of the Week that week. So, you ever need, if anyone, a guy on the team's listening and needs to get out of a slump, just tell me to ask.
I will. I'll tell you to think about it.
Does Scott Wingo give you any tips on getting hit by a pitch? I still think he's the record holder at South Carolina for it. Does he actually give you tips on how to get hit by pitches?
He I don't know that we've ever had a much of an in-depth conversation about that, but I just know that he's not scared. He's not scared to get hit. He's not scared to wear a pitch. We'll be out there doing outfield drills sometimes, and he'll be hitting us or something, and we'll throw the ball back into him, and he'll just sit there and wear it just for no reason.
Very Scott Wingo.
Yeah, he'll just sit there and wear it, and he'll come back next day and show us all the bruises and be like, boys.
That's honestly a really good Scott Wingo impression.
Yeah, no, he's just funny like that. And I just think that's who he is. And he just, when he's playing, he just wasn't scared to wear one. He'd get up on the plate and challenge the pitcher to come in because he wasn't scared to wear one. And that's the, I think it's the mentality you got to have. There's no strategy, I don't think, to really
just crowd the plate and hope something happens, right?
Yeah, but if you get on that plate and you're not afraid to wear one, then you're going to get hit a couple times, and it's a good way to get on base.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of looking forward to this weekend. You're no stranger to playing Georgia. You've seen a lot of Georgia over your career, but what about this group has kind of stood out to you, especially from a pitching staff standpoint in your study of them?
Yeah, I mean, they got they got a real Friday night dude who I just found out that he will not be throwing this weekend. But I mean, overall, I know they got a few guys in the pen that threw against us last year. Last year they had a lefty, Ryan Webb, who's had a really good career there, and he was a really solid pitcher. But starter wise, I'm not quite sure what they're going to come out with us this weekend. I'm not sure. I don't think they've announced it. We haven't gotten any information yet. I'm sure we will later today. But a lot of experienced guys out of the pen, a lot of sophomores, juniors that we saw last year. A lot of solid pen arms, and I think that's going to be the key for us is getting that starter out of the game and getting to the pen. We've seen the best of the best in the country in the SEC so far. So nothing that we see this weekend or for the rest of the year, honestly, is gonna be anything new. So we just gotta approach it like we approached yesterday, like we approach every other game, like we try to approach every other game. It's just go in with a lot of confidence, a lot of energy, and just have fun playing baseball. And if we do those things, then there's a good chance we win a couple ball games this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious, kind of wrapping up, but just when you get scouting reports, what are some things that are on there that you don't have to necessarily divulge anything about, a Georgia pitcher, but just what are some things on the scouting report that you get that you really pay attention to when you're trying to study, a bullpen arm versus a starter or just a team in general?
Yeah, I mean the first thing I like to look at is just video of the starter. I can a lot I can get a lot of information from just a few pitches as far as um, arm slot, and I like to see if their fastball, like what kind of movement they got, if they got some run and sink, because that tells me where I got to stand on the plate, and if a pitcher's got a lot of run, then he's probably going to throw into me. Just knowing how I've gotten pitched, this year and last year, and so that's something that I like to look at also, and as well as I like to see the shape of their breaking ball, see if it's more of a downer or a side to sider. That tells me a lot also, and that's something that you want to know before you get in for your first at bat, because a lot of times that first at bat is it is kind of you do want to learn from that, but you also if you can you want to be
Base, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to go in there blind and be like, oh, that's what it looks like. So I like to look at that, and also we get like percentage counts in our scouting reports. If this guy's at this count, if there's a 70 or 80% chance he's going to throw this pitch, that's something I want to know in case I get into that count and I could be sitting on that pitch. So those are the main things. I don't go too in depth on the bullpen arms,
right.
Until they throw. Most bullpen guys are pretty similar.
Right. High level fastball, good breaking ball.
Yeah, most of the righties are fastball slider guys. Most of the lefties are more. They're not going to be as.
You're not going to see 96 from the left side compared to 96 from the right side.
It's going to be. It's not going to be the same. So, but I mean, like I said, a lot of the bullpen guys in the SEC are pretty similar, both righties and lefties for most teams. So that's something I don't take a huge in-depth look in. But we've got stuff during the game. We've got information that the coaches tell us, and we use that to try to help us out.
Absolutely. Well, Andrew, I think that's going to wrap it up for, I guess, week 4 or episode 4 with Andrew Eyster. And as we kind of close, is there anything you want to say or say before we kind of wrap this thing up?
Well, I mean, we got a big series weekend. I hope people come pack the stands, and really makes a big difference for us. It's it brings some energy to the dugout, and it really helps us out, and more so than that, I think it can really get to the other team sometimes. So I just hope to see a packed house, hopefully on Friday night, and bring it into Saturday and even Sunday, and get some students in here. I think the frat guys are they're some of the most underappreciated fans that we have. Those guys aren't afraid to get in the ears of the first baseman and their first base coach and pretty much anyone who's within hearing distance. So hopefully those guys make it out, and everyone else, and it just helps us, and it's fun playing in front of a big crowd. So I'm excited for this weekend. We're all excited, and we're hoping to get a series win out of this weekend, and then bring in the next weekend. And hopefully the rest of the season, and be in a good spot at the end. But yeah, we're all excited, and looking forward to tomorrow for sure.
So, Andrew, I can't thank you enough. Best of luck this weekend, and we'll be sure to do this, I think, in a couple more weeks.
Sounds good, Colin. I appreciate it.